Cleaning up SX10 point cloud data in Trimble Business Center. What we have in this screen snap are 4 core scans from an SX10 on a 2-lane highway at an intersection with another 2-lane road. Now this was a very busy highway, and you see from the scanning we get lots of artifacts, lots of pieces of scan data that hit cars and trucks as they were driving down the road. And what we want to do is bring this data into TBC, and we want to clean it up so that it looks like this when we're done. So the first thing we're going to do is open up Trimble Business Center. And once TBC opens, we're going to click on Start New Project from the Start page. This project was done in the US Survey Foot, and it was a scale only project, so we'll choose that template and click OK. And once TBC opens up, I'm going to go ahead and go to File and Save Project As, and just save it as Intersection. Click Save. Then from the Home tab, I'll go to Import, and I'll browse for the folder that has my SX10 data in it. Choose that folder and click OK. And then I'll take my JXL file and just drag it into the workspace. There's my project scale definition for this project. That was defined by a customer. If you needed to change that here, you could. I'll click OK for this demonstration. And then TBC is going to go ahead and read the JXL file. That's all you have to bring in is the JXL file. You don't have to bring in the scans, the photos. Just make sure they're in the same folder as the JXL, and it will read that, see that there's scans and photo data in that, and it will automatically import those in. Now once the scans and JXL have been imported in, you'll get a message asking if you want to stop and colorize later. So in this step, the photos are used to colorize the point cloud. If you have a lot of photos, a lot of scan stations, this could take a lot of time. So you could stop and colorize later if you want to go ahead and start working on the project. Here I only have 4 scans, so I'm going to go ahead and let it colorize. If you do decide to stop work in a grayscale point cloud and you want to colorize later, under the point cloud there is an option to colorize scans. Okay, once the data has been imported, you'll see it populate on the screen. Now this job's a long highway job, and they had a lot of control points in the file, so I'm going to use my mouse. Holding down the center scroll button, I can pan. I can also use that center scroll button to zoom in, and wherever my cursor is placed, that's where it'll actually center the zooming. So I'll go ahead and zoom into our area of interest, and then I'll close my import dialog box. Under the View tab, you can open the View Manager, the View Filter Manager, and with the View Filter Manager, I'm going to go ahead and turn off things that I don't really need right now because I just want to get down to the point cloud data. So in here, I'll turn off all the points. I'll also turn off the total station vectors, the media folders, and the photo stations. So that leaves me with just a point cloud here. At this point, I'll go ahead and click on the point cloud tab, and I'm going to open up a 3D view by clicking up here on the 3D view icon. Same thing in 3D view. I can scroll in and out. I can pan by holding the right mouse button down, and I can rotate my 3D view by holding down the center mouse button. And wherever I have my cursor, when I hold down that button and start to rotate, that's where it's actually going to center the rotation around. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my plan view real quick, and I've got a couple of different select tools I can use under point clouds. I can use Polygon Select or Rectangle Select. For this option here, all I want to do is grab the intersection information. That's all I'm really interested in. So I'm going to use the Rectangular Select for this. We'll use the Polygon Select in just a minute. I'll center it up, zoom it in and out to where I can see the area of interest, and then just going from the left to the right, I'll just draw a box around the area that I actually want to concentrate on for this intersection. Once I've selected that, you'll see it change color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell TBC that I want to keep these selected points in, and now all the other points will disappear. They haven't been deleted, they've just been taken out of the scene for right now. Then I'm going to left click on the point cloud and I'm going to tell it I want to create a region. Regions are kind of like layers in CAD, but in TBC we already had layers for CAD type things. So for point cloud data, it's called a region, but that's basically like a layer. You can take groups inside the point clouds and create regions out of them. So I'm going to call this region intersection and click OK. Now what I have, that changed over to color coded intensity. If I want to change that back to true color, I could change that right there, where you have also grayscale, scan color, other color choices that you could choose. But basically now you'll see if I click on that, I have one point cloud region. If I click over here, I have the other point cloud region. And in my view filter manager, under point cloud regions, I have the default region, which if I turn that off, I'm left with the intersection. If I turn that back on and turn the intersection off, I'm left with everything outside of that area I chose. So this makes it easy to work with the data. Now, one nice thing about TBC and the SX10 is, since this was done with a full scanning robot, it was done on project control, you'll see when the point cloud comes in, there's no registration that needs to be done. Everything is in the right place. Go to 3D view, turn it around, everything lines up from the different scans. So that's one of the great things. Normal survey workflow, don't have to worry about registration back here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my default layer and just keep my, or region, and keep my intersection on there. And I'm going to choose the point cloud again, highlight it, and up under the edit button for point clouds, I have an option to extract ground. So the first thing I'm going to do is extract just the ground out to help clean this up and get rid of all those cars and trucks that I don't want. And once that ground has been extracted, you'll see by default it turns to brown, and I actually get another region. So now I have an intersection region and a ground region. So I'm going to turn the intersection off, and there you see the software has automatically and very quickly gotten rid of all those cars and trucks that were on the ground and created a nice point cloud region of just the roadway and the ground surrounding it. I'm going to turn my intersection back on now and turn my ground region off. And you'll see here, now I have everything that was above ground. I have my poles, my stoplights, buildings, signs, those sort of things that I want to keep in the project, but I also have all these artifacts of cars that were on the road that were taken out. So what I'm going to do now is, using the 3D view, I'm going to use my Polygon Select tool to select all these cars and trucks that are in the roadway and tell the software to keep them out of the scene. So what I'll do is just left click and draw a line. When I let go, it'll drop a point there, and then without holding any buttons down on the mouse, I can just move my mouse over, click again, it'll drop another point, click again, double click when I want to close the polygon. That will select everything inside the polygon, and I'll tell the software to keep that out. And I'm just going to go through rotating so that I can tell what are cars out in the intersection or out in the roadway that I want to get rid of. And I'm just going to go through and draw my box around, double click when I'm finished, choose keep out, and I'm going to speed this up so that you don't have to watch the whole thing, but I'm just going to use the 3D mode and go through the roadway like I just did on this section, and go through here, the other three parts of the intersection, and just clip out those cars. Once I think I have it cleaned up, I can use this 3D view to lay it on its side and kind of look right down the road, see, you know, there might be some signs or something there that are sticking up, but just make sure that I don't have any cars that are sitting up above the road anymore. And that looks pretty good there. So just scrolling around, it looks like I got everything. There's a few things, but those are actually down on the ground that are flat. Doesn't look like they're a piece of a car, except for some cars and things that were back in parking lots. But it looks like the roadway's pretty much cleared up now. So what I can do is I'm going to select all this that's left, and I'm going to tell it to create a region, and I'm just going to call this top and click OK. So now I have a top region and a ground region. The ground region and the top region. Turn off the intersection region that has all the trash in it. I'll select my ground and tell it to go to color coded intensity. Grab the top region and tell it to go to color coded intensity. And now you'll see, if I look through here, I've got all those cars cleaned up. Basically, I'm down to a good set of data where I've got all my poles, all my buildings, everything I need there, but all the trash has been removed. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to save the project, click on save, and now I'm ready to start doing CAD work in here, picking points, drawing lines, whatever I want to do from the point cloud data.